Welcome back to WCS Korea Season 2, where we have the Blue Terran Innovation coming up against the Yellow Zerg Soulkey. Now this is game number 2 in a best of 5 series, and it's taking place on Star Station, so quite a large map, and we have got cross spawns. So this match could well go into a longer macro style game. Game 1 was an impressive game between these two players, quite a lengthy game. I don't want to spoil the results for you. If you haven't seen it yet, please go check it out. Otherwise, you're likely to get a little bit of it spoiled as we examine and enjoy this game number 2. In game number 1, we were able to see Innovation apply a lot of pressure to Soulkey's 4th base and able to keep him down on an equal number of bases, and eventually Innovation was able to break his back with some very efficient engagements. Unfortunately for Soulkey, though, we did see some fantastic Mutalisk micro out of him, managing to be quite a pain to Innovation, nipping around his bases, picking off structures and widow mines, just utilising the Mutalisk to its full effect. So quite excellent play out of Soulkey. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go for those Mutalisks again this round. His control was just fantastic. In spite of the fact he was going up against a biomine, he lost very little to extraneous widow mines and marines stationed around the field. Innovation looks like he's liable to open with a command centre on the high ground again, banking up that 400 minerals. So he's down. Oh, he's throwing it down on the low ground, a bit more confident, I guess, on the size of this map, throwing that command centre down on the low ground, bringing down a second SCV to chase off this pesky scout. But Soulkey just trying to be as annoying as possible, playing ring around the rosy. And if Innovation's not lucky, I'd be surprised to see him lose this SCV, and indeed he does pull that back in the main and swap it with a third SCV from the mineral line. But that can be quite frustrating as a Terran player to deal with before you have any units out. And we can see Innovation is putting this to good use already with his third base down at 3 minutes. Very greedy play. No spawning pool out as of yet, but going for quite a greedy macro style play. So this could be quite an interesting game. It's when Zerg choose to go for this early 3 bases, sometimes it can leave them a little bit behind on the upgrades, things like Zergling speed he may not have. And in the first game we did see Innovation go for Hellion, so if he's not careful with the timing and the scouting, Soulkey might well get caught out by some of those early Hellions nipping into his third base. Very exposed. You can slide in from either this far extreme angle, you can come up from down here, and you can also cut across. So quite a lot of spots for Soulkey to have to try and defend and get sight of. This map's very easy to sneak around. Also substantial angles for drops both into the main and third base. Even a drop into the main can attack these mineral patches from the high ground. You can also duck up into the natural expansion or around the back into the main. So just excellent map for Terran. Other races do suffer on this map versus Terran. It's a great map for drops, and I wonder if we will see those out of Innovation. He has got his factory coming down now, just using his marines to clean up these destructible plates. If you're wondering why that's going on, Blizzard added these plates to their maps to try and avoid a lot of the cheesy wall-ins that people would try and do, walling in the bottom of other people's ramps. Got quite frustrating back in the day. Also, the other reason for bothering to kill them is if you're unlucky or not careful, you can click on those, and it can cost you a couple of valuable seconds of your units firing at a worthless target instead of the enemy units. So always good to take those out where you can. Innovation throwing down his tech lab, likely for stim pack or combat shield. And we do have another command centre up on the back of this. So Innovation himself playing quite greedy to match the greed of Soulkey. We've got second base getting quite saturated, third base spine crawler down there to defend it, and we do have the geysers down in that natural. Only 2 geysers mining at present, likely because of the extra minerals sunk into this third base. Does need a bit more time to get the extra drones and that he'd normally have. see no real indicators yet as for what innovation has planned. Second refinery on the way. This could be for a starport, for either medevacs for drop-in or just to support a push later on. A third orbital command on the way, so he's powering quite a nice economy. If we check out that income tab, both players substantial economy, quite a greedy opening. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this go into a long macro game. But that said, these two players are both capable of a nice set of timing attacks. Innovation pushing on the front door, but he's going to get driven back by these extra queens that Soulkey has. But as predicted, Innovation streaming into this base. He's very excited. He has got the spine crawler there, but these Hellions are able to prove quite pesky, nipping in around the edges, getting some splash damage up. Still hasn't lost a Hellion, and able to get, let's see how many worker kills, able to get 3 worker kills without losing a Hellion, so not bad at all. And he did get some good scouting information. He knows there's some Evo chambers down, and if he was paying attention, and if they were wiggling like that when he was up there, he'd know that upgrades are in fact on the way. We pull up the production tab, we can see we've got 1-1 on the way for both players, as well as Ro8 speed there. Where's that Ro8 warrant? Up here in the main base, so likely to see some sort of heavy Ro8 timing out of Soulkey. Innovation though, unbothered, he's thrown down his engineering bays and a 4th barrack, so if he goes for the same level of Marauder commitment that he had last game, he will be fine against these Roaches. But if he keeps streaming these Hellions and Marines, he could be in for substantial trouble when these Roaches move out. I wonder where Soulkey is storing. Yep, Roaches rallying down here. There's still 11 on the way, so there'll be a substantial little force forming here. We may well see a greater timing attack out of Soulkey. Innovation starting to wall up his 3rd base. Temporarily supply blocked, but planning to undo it with a few depots here. Try and protect this 3rd base from run-bys and funnel the Zerg forces into his troops. We have a starport on the way, is indeed for medevacs. I wonder if we'll see a drop come up here if this medevac plans to pick up some of these units. No. Perhaps because his other medevac spotted this force moving out. Will he react in time? He only has 2 Marauders on the field. This could be quite a problem for Innovation. He's poorly equipped to deal with this at present. SCV's having to be pulled off the line. We see his Marines and Marauders sticking to go to work on these Roaches, but we can see the working kills mounting. 13 kills now for Soulkey. A lot of damage on this expansion. So Roach reinforcements continuing to stream down. We see 20 Roaches on the field. If we look at the production, I wouldn't be surprised to see a few more Marauders. No, only 1. It'll take the total to 3. If Soulkey can pick these off, it really will be in a good position. Marines and Hellions are really not the best composition for trying to kill masses of Roaches. Big stim from the Marauders and Marines is able to pick off a number of those Roaches, sending Soulkey heading back for home, beating that hasty retreat, and Zerg will not be able to go toe-to-toe with 2-2 stimmed up bio. So probably wise of Soulkey there to back out. He did the damage with that push, killed 13 workers, sort of equalised that Hellion harass we saw earlier, and now feeling probably a bit more comfortable than if he'd allowed Innovation to macro on 3 bases. We do in fact have drop moving out here, but with a Widow Mine able to pick off that Overseer, that'll be quite frustrating. Soulkey's having to morph another one, take out this Widow Mine here. Nice positioning from the Widow Mine. I'm not sure, that is just on the edge of this mineral patch. That would be interesting to see if it could in fact make it down to the low ground. I have a feeling, because it's Innovation that was doing it, it's likely the case. Probably tested that before and knows just how annoying it can be. I'd love to see that detonate. We do have Innovation unloading on the high ground. Will he pick off this Queen, or will Soulkey get it out in time? The Queen does go down. These Marines in an excellent position to kill Zerg. Minimal frontage with Marines and Marauders hiding behind us there. Roaches clean it out, and the medevac will be forced to So they have a big push coming here for the natural or the third base. Marines, medevacs and biomine forces pushing right up. That Baneling almost taking out the Widow Mine, forcing the units to pull down. We have some Zergan minesweepers moving in, trying to bait these Widow Mines to friendly fire the Marines, but just not quite making it. We have a nice big concave of Roaches and Banelings, but excellent splits from Innovation, able to pull back safely. We pull up the units lost tab, we can see it's once again favouring Innovation, with the Zerg having lost an extra almost 3,000 minerals. We find that this time Soulkey is in a better position. He does have his fourth base up, hasn't yet lost his third, so he's in a lot better position at this point in the game than he was last game. So this Marauder's proving very pesky, able to reach these mineral patches and stop the mining. So Soulkey does have to clean this out somehow. Really, the Roaches won't be able to do the job they want. They have a much shorter range, so they won't be able to. They'll be held out by these mineral patches and be prevented from shooting the high ground as effectively as, say, if he came around this side and used a nice concave for a quick push into the third base. Roaches swinging back to move this up. You notice Innovation threw this annoying little bone down here to draw Soulkey out of position and putting the pressure on the third base. Just great multitasking out of Innovation. And we have Soulkey GGing out of that game. Innovation able to take game number 2 in an excellent series. We'll see you back here for game number 3. Can Soulkey break this pressure, or will Innovation be able to steamroller through to a 3-0 victory? Find out in game number 3. We cast that next time. Thanks guys, I hope you enjoyed it, we'll see you next round.